Hello, beautiful souls. This is Marna. I'm coming to you today. I don't know if any of you have watched Stranger Things. Some of you may have even been on it. I'm coming to you today from Starcourt Mall. Now, this was the scene where I spent a lot of my childhood. I wish I could take you inside. I grew up in this mall back when it was still, before it became known as a movie set. So for me, seeing it destroyed on a TV show, Netflix show, was a little bit on the strange side. I had some feels, okay? But I was in the area today. I thought, hey, why not do the read here? And I'm happy to say that the read today is looking a lot more positive than the last few have been. That makes me feel better. I hate doing negative reads. But coincidentally enough, since I was feeling nostalgic today, first card out is Six of Cups. Yes, this is the card of nostalgia. This is the card of your childhood. Some people do it as romances. This is childhood friendships. These are the people who mattered to you in your past. These are the people who formed you as you were growing up. Whether you like them or not, still, that's entirely up to you. But today is the energy where people are thinking about those that we grew up with, those who helped form who we are on the most basic and fundamental of levels. In the States, we are coming up on Thanksgiving, which is a holiday of returning home to the family. This can be a great thing if you are close with your family. If you're from a family that was not so close, it can be a bit more challenging. But Six of Cups, for good or for bad, is all about remembering those connections. Why those connections mattered then and why they still matter now. Who formed you? Who is the basis of the character that you are now? That's what the Six of Cups calls on you to remember. And moving from the past to the present, the beautiful Nine of Pentacles. This is frequently interpreted as the card of the single woman. I see it as the card of the individual who's found their own abundance. This is the card of a person who knows the value of the work that they do, who values themselves highly for being themselves, not for any other reason. This is the card of the person who knows who they are and is at peace with that. I hope, as people are going through into this holiday season with all of the terrible dangers of being reminded of your past, that you remember who you are now, who you choose to be now, and how you choose to express that. Your past formed you, but who you are now is who you choose to be on a daily basis. And if that means choosing to be the emperor of your world, go for it. We all manifest our realities. We all manifest the world that we live in. And the sooner that you understand this, the sooner you realize the life you lead is the life you choose. And when you understand that this is your choice, conscious or subconscious, that the lessons you're learning are your choice, then the sooner you gain power over your life. And I have some friends who are going through some very difficult situations right now. I've been going through a few myself. And there are times when you just want to rail at the sky that, this is not fair. And then you remember, this was my choice. Before I even came into my life, I knew I had lessons to learn, and this is how I chose to learn them. It's a small shift, but it is a crucial one. Because once you acknowledge that you have choice, once you acknowledge that your decisions affect the world around you, you can never be a victim again. Because you can choose differently. You can always learn from a mistake and choose differently. So here we have the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Intelligence, the Knight of Intellect, the Knight of Wisdom. The knight who sometimes forgets to watch his own back because he's so looking forward. The Knight of Swords is a quick-moving action. This is someone who sees what needs to be changed and takes decisive action on it. He's the one who keeps the emperor in power. How is this night manifesting for you? What choices are you making? And are you weighing all of the consequences before you make them? Temperance is the card of alchemy. It is the card of patience. It is the card of understanding how all of the elements come together and balance each other. It is the card of knowing what mixes and what doesn't, and having the discernment to decide where you're putting your attention. All things must be done in balance. So let's look at our clarifiers for Six of Cups. The Three of Wands. As you are looking at your past, as you are looking at the forces that formed you, as you are looking at where you have been and where you still have to go, remember what you have sent out. The Three of Wands is all about your ships coming home. In old days, merchants would send out caravans of ships, not just one or two, many, because there is the certain knowledge that some would not return. What have you sent out? Have you focused entirely on one thing to the exclusion of all else? Because that is a recipe for failure. Yes, it is good to specialize. Yes, it is good to know what you're doing. Yes, it is good to be an expert in your field. But don't make one thing your entire life. Diversify. Don't just be a business expert. Be a business expert who has a fulfilling, rich family life, who reaches out to people in need. Don't just do one thing. Be a master of one craft, sure, but never give up all the other aspects of life in pursuit of the one. What ships have you sent out? When are they coming home? That's the message of the Three of Wands. What are you building for the future in what you do today? So clarifying Nine of Pentacles. I do love these cards, they're so pretty. The Nine of Pentacles is the person who knows what they are doing, knows who they are, and accepts themselves. And the Eight of Pentacles is how you get there. By knowing your craft, knowing what you're working on, knowing what you are building towards. All of us go through a phase where we learn. No one wakes up and is, well, I won't say no one because there's a few brain injuries that will cause this to happen. But for the most part, the vast majority of us do not wake up as sudden experts in a field. We all start from somewhere. We all build our knowledge base. And once you have built the life that you are proud of, the life where you know your meaning, the life that matches your soul's calling, that's when you've reached the Nine of Pentacles. That's when you've reached that point of stability within yourself. Even if the path you choose to follow makes no sense to any of the people in your past, even if you are following your soul's calling and the people who know you in the 3D are looking at you going, "Are you nuts?" Stay true. Stay true to your soul's calling. Stay true to who you are and who you are meant to be. That is how you become your most realized version of you. Like I said, the Emperor rules the world. The Emperor is the master of all the elements in his world. But doing that comes with a fair supply of work involved. To master the elements of your world, to be the ruler, to be the person in charge, the HBIC, is a burden. Nothing comes without a price. But when you know what that price is, you're willing to pay it. The question is, when does the price become too high? When have you become so focused on just one aspect of your life that you have driven away everything else? When are you facing a Pyrrhic victory of being, yes, I'm right, I won the battle, and in the process I lost the war of self-fulfillment? How do you face that? Make sure that you're choosing the hills that you die on carefully. Make sure that you are not just throwing your weight around for the sake of being right. Otherwise, you're left with a world of nothing. Emperor of an empty world is not a fun place to be. Don't throw away the things that truly matter in the course of chasing one cause. Our Knight of Swords knows his boundaries. He has been through the wars and has come back wounded, but he knows what he fought for. He knows he still believes in it, and he knows he would fight for it again. Page of Swords, on the other hand, Page of Swords is idealistic. Page of Swords is, yes, this is my cause. I don't know if any of y'all remember, but back in 2012, there was a big outroar on the internet of Kony, a South African warlord that was enslaving children and using them in his militias. And it was the cause célèbre for a while. Everyone, Kony 2012, we need to do something about this. And nothing was done. The internet is really, really good at that, showing us human tragedies that need to be addressed, making us think that our activism online is doing something. And in reality, it makes us feel good, but it doesn't change anything. As you find your causes, as you find your passions, as you find the things that you're chasing after, be discerning and choose the fights that can actually be won. There is a lot to be said for being one of the people who stands up for truth, justice, and the American way at all times. But a lot of those people die. Look at what's going on in Hong Kong right now with the civil war that is brewing there between the HKers and the Chinese mainland. So many wonderful, wonderful young lives are either being killed outright or packed up and sent to detention camps to disappear. These bright, beautiful minds that have so much potential, and because they are supporting this cause of freedom, which is every bit a worthwhile cause, because they are choosing to support that, they're going to be removed before they can make a difference in society as a whole. And that is a loss to all of us, not just to the families, not just to the friends, not just to the cause of liberty, but to us as individuals. These brilliant, brilliant minds are being silenced because the Page of Swords thought he was the knight and went into battle without making sure his armor was on straight. Survive your battles. Survive your battles and choose the ones that can be won to fight. They're important. All of them are important. But a corpse does no good to any cause. Wow, didn't mean to get political there. Sorry. So, temperance, balance, judgment. Judgment. Know how your society is structured. Know the ramifications of challenging that structure. Before you step out of the box you're told to occupy, make sure you know what is on the other side. Yes, you will rise to a new life. Make sure it's the life you want it to be. Make sure it is not a futile gesture. Make sure that you are supporting these causes and supporting these passions, because these truly are the passions that you support, not out of a sense of misplaced nostalgia, not out of a feeling of loss of your childhood. How many times in the last year have you heard someone say, oh, we need to bring America back to what it was? What it was. What it was when? In the 1950s, when we had segregation? When women weren't allowed to have homes of their own and were forced to stay in abusive marriages? Know what it truly was before you try to bring it back. Accept the good and the bad before you try to bring it back. Know what it is that you're espousing. Because I'll tell you one thing, those people who are saying they want to make America great again do not want to go back to the tax structures that we had in the 1950s that made it possible for us to build the interstate system and become one of the greatest powers on the earth. That's the one thing they don't want, is that 95% tax on the wealthiest echelons of society. The tax that allowed us to build schools and bridges and highways. The taxes that allowed us to build public airports and transportation systems. The taxes that made the middle class possible. They don't want that again. Know what it is you say you want. Know the ramifications of what you do before you act. Well, so this went in places I never expected it to go. I hope it brought you the clarity that you're seeking. If this message is not for you, I can guarantee you someone else does need to hear it. So please feel free to share. Subscribe to the channel and you will get notifications on when updates are made. If you want to make sure you hit all of the notifications, make sure you hit that bell next to the subscription thing. I so appreciate every one of you who listens to these. The intent is for you to get clarity in your own life, in your life as part of society as a whole, as part of the community around you. Like I said, if it's not your message today, it may be your message tomorrow. Someone else needs to hear this, so share away. I hope you have a beautiful day, my friends.